I call the July 11th Annual Hampton City School Board Reorganizational Meeting to order. This is the annual reorganizational meeting of the Hampton City School Board. As such, as superintendent, I will preside over the meeting until the election of a chairman of the Hampton City School Board for the 2018-19 school year, which will occur momentarily. It is a pleasure to welcome Dr. Richard Mason to his first official meeting of the Hampton City School Board. Welcome, Dr. Mason. We're delighted to have with us this evening Jacob. Would ask Jacob if you would come forward, a rising sixth grader at Spratly, at the Spratly Gifted Center. He will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as well as the invocation. Good evening, Jacob.
Good evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jacob, share with us any words of wisdom this evening that you would have for us, as superintendent and members of the Hampton City School Board and the viewing audience, along with all of our guests with us this evening.
We've got to wake up every morning and ask ourselves, how bad do I want it? How much work are we willing to put forth to get the things we want and need in our lives? Nothing great comes without effort, but if it is something of great meaning and significance in your life, every risk, every step, and every drop of sweat will be worth it.
Thank you, Jacob. With us, Jacob Petrie. I know that you have some individuals with you this evening that you would like to certainly introduce, so we want to give you an opportunity to do so. So share with us individuals that you have with you.
I have my mom,
Please stand,
Erin
Mom.
Petrie. I have my dad, Joel Petrie. I have my grandma, Janet Chartier. And I have my grandpa, Dennis Chartier.
Great. Thank you. Well, we're delighted to have you with us, and thank you so very much for joining us this evening and for doing an excellent job. And so share with us something exciting that you're engaged in this summer.
Well, I am going to see an Imagine Dragons concert in Florida.
Great. I hope you have an extra ticket that you can invite the superintendent to join you for that special.
I wish I did.
Maybe the next time.
Maybe.
We'll be able to do that. Well, thank you, and please have a wonderful summer. And thank you for sharing with us this evening, and to your parents and your both your grandmother and grandpa and members of your family. I know that you're proud of him, as we are. Here with Hampton City Schools, and you have a very bright future. So thank you for being with us this evening. Let's give Jacob another hand. Thank you, Jacob. Let me ask if there's a motion to adopt the July 11th, 2018 school board meeting agenda. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Great, thank you. And I think Ms. Bowers, based upon let me ask, I think you have the roll based upon the votes tonight for the first action item, or would you like to call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Cherry?
Here.
Ms. Henry?
Here.
Mr. Kilgore?
Here.
Dr. Mason?
Here.
Ms. Mugler?
Here.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Here.
Mr. Samuels?
Present.
Great. The motion, of course, earlier was carried. We have the swearing-in ceremony, and we're delighted to have with us the Honorable Judge Christopher Hutton with us for the swearing-in ceremony of Mr. Joseph Kilgore, Dr. Richard Mason, and Mr. Jason Samuels. At this time, we would invite the Honorable Judge Christopher Hutton to come forward, and we would ask that individuals, certainly Mr. Joseph Kilgore, Dr. Richard Mason, and Mr. Jason Samuels, please join the Honorable Judge Christopher Hutton. Thank you for coming, Judge, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this very pleasant part of our job as a judge here in the Circuit Court of the City of Hampton. I've been invited before, some of my colleagues have been here too. We certainly enjoy it. Thank you. I'm now going to proceed to give the oath to these three gentlemen. If you would repeat after me, I,
Jason Samuels,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties incumbent upon me
discharge the duties incumbent upon me
as a member of the Hampton City School Board
as a member of the Hampton City School Board
in the city of Hampton, Virginia,
in the city of Hampton, Virginia,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Gentlemen, you are all in sync.
Judge Hutton, thank you for sharing with us and being a part of this particular school board meeting. Thank you so very much. Let's give the Honorable Judge Christopher Hutton another. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of Personnel Report 18-13 as well as the addendum?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bowers, please, any discussion? Please, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Motion's carried. The school board shall elect one of its members as chairman. Is there a motion for the chairmanship of the Hampton City School Board for the 2018-19 school year?
Dr. Smith, I have a motion. Tonight marks my 10th year on this school board, and I have never had the opportunity to nominate anyone for chairman, so I figured it's about time I give this a shot. Dr. Smith, I nominate Ann Stevens-Cherry as chairman of the Hampton School Board.
Is there a second?
Dr. Smith, I would like to second the nomination of Ann Stevens-Cherry. I've known Ms. Cherry for over 20 years as a colleague. While I was principal of Phoebus High School, I became well acquainted with her enthusiastic commitment to the division. As a board member, she's been very hardworking and committed to the smooth operations of the board. I think she'll be an excellent chairman.
Is there any other discussion?
Yes, I was just waiting for you to open it up for discussion, but I just wanted to say that after retiring from 17 years as the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Hampton School Division, Ms. Cherry was elected to the Hampton School Board and has served as our Vice Chairman for the last 2 years. She also serves on the Citizens Police Advisory Group and the Hampton Social Services Board. While on our school board, she has represented the board by serving on the Town and Gown Committee with the city and Hampton University, and she has proven through her work as our vice chairman that she has the skill to manage the responsibilities of chairman. Her longtime service to the school division and experience as vice chairman demonstrate that she is uniquely qualified to serve the board well in this position. I ask board members to join me in supporting Ms. Cherry.
Any other discussion? Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Henry,
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore,
Aye.
Dr. Mason,
Aye.
Ms. Mugler,
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse,
Aye.
Ms. Cherry,
Aye.
Mr. Samuels.
Aye. And although you didn't ask me for my vote or my support, I love you so much, and I know you're going to do a great job. I know you're going to do a great job. So I vote aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Congratulations. I'm delighted to be able to turn the gavel over to you and know that you will carry us forward in the meeting. And may I just say, as superintendent, as always, please join me as superintendent in acknowledging Ms. Cherry as the chairperson for the upcoming school year of the Hampton City School Board. Thank you.
I, first of all, as a point of privilege, just want to thank all members of this school board for putting their faith in me and their trust in me in terms of electing me chair of the Hampton School Board for this upcoming school year. I love this board. This board has always been close. This board is a board that has skills and expertise and just commitments that I have said in the past, and I can say here publicly, any person sitting up here can serve as chair and serve as a magnificent chair. This is a board that understands it's not about them, that is not an I. We subscribe to that old adage, there's no I in team, because we're all committed to doing what is best for the children of this division, the parents of this division, the staff, and our community members. And I can pledge to you as chair, I will be inclusive. That's who I am. Many of you who know me know that I absolutely underscore communication. Therefore, anything I know, the board will know. I will reach out to each of them and value their opinions, because while majority rules, the minority must be heard. We are all valued. We have been elected by the citizens of this great city, and we are here to make a difference. I can just say to my husband, who's seated in the audience, with me being chair, you might not be seeing a lot of me lately, but I do thank this board. Thank you. The next item of business on the agenda is 4.02. The board shall elect one of its members vice chair. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to be recognized at this time, and I would like to nominate Mr. Joseph Kilgore for the position of vice chair for the year 2018-2019 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second to have Mr. Joe Kilgore serve in the capacity as vice chair for this upcoming school year. Is there any discussion?
May I make a comment at this time?
The
Madam
chair recognizes Dr. Woodhouse.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair, I'm nominating Mr. Joseph Kilgore because I feel his 8 years of experience on the board and his previous 2 years serving as vice chair distinguishes him as being qualified to serve in the position. In my time on the board, I have noticed Mr. Kilgore's consistent work ethic. He's a hard worker. His attention to detail, his depth of knowledge in school law, school policy, programs, and board governance. He continues to distinguish himself through professional development, dedication, time, and hard work. He has received the highest VSBA award of distinction. So that is why I'm nominating him as the vice chair.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion? Ready for the question? Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
And once again, I'd just like to make a comment. Although my vote and my support was not solicited and asked, but I will vote aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr. Kilgore. Mr. Kilgore, as you're coming forward to take your seat in the vice chair position, I failed to mention that I wanted to also thank Mr. Jason Samuels for the 2 years he served us as chair. Appreciate that. Have any remarks, Mr. Kilgore?
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank my fellow board members for their support this evening. I truly appreciate working with all of you, and I'm honored to serve as the vice chair. Also want to thank Reverend Woodhouse for the kind words. And I also want to congratulate Ms. Cherry on being selected as our new chair. I truly look forward to working with you. We have a lot of great things going on in Hampton City Schools. They're exciting, but they're also challenging. And I believe that we are going to work really well together, and I am excited about the coming year. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kilgore. I'm excited as well. Item 4.03, the school board, on recommendation of the superintendent, shall appoint Carolyn Bowers as clerk of the school board. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that the school board, on recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Carolyn Bowers as clerk of the board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, ready for the question. Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it and the motion carries. Item 4.04, the school board, on recommendation of the superintendent, shall appoint Sally Seidner as deputy clerk of the school board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that the board appoint Sally Seidner as deputy clerk of the school board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, ready for the question. Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. Motion carries. 4.05, the school board shall fix a time, date, and place for holding regular meetings for the ensuing year. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed school board meeting dates for 2018, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that the board fix a time, date, and place for holding regular meetings for the ensuing year, and that we adopt the proposed school board meeting dates. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, ready for the question. Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Item 4.06, the school board, on recommendation of the superintendent, shall appoint Dr. John Caggiano as the superintendent's designee to attend meetings of the school board and represent the superintendent in his absence. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that the board appoint Dr. Caggiano as the superintendent's designee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ready for the question, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Henry,
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore,
Aye.
Dr. Mason,
Aye.
Ms. Mugler. Aye. Dr. Woodhouse,
Aye.
Mr. Samuels,
Aye.
Ms. Cherry.
Aye. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item 4.07, the school board, on recommendation of the superintendent, shall appoint Kelly Gore, Freedom of Information Officer. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we appoint Kelly Gore, Freedom of Information Officer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Bowers, ready for the question, please call for the vote.
Mr. Kilgore,
Aye.
Dr. Mason,
Aye.
Ms. Mugler,
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse,
Aye.
Mr. Samuels,
Aye.
Ms. Henry,
Aye.
Ms. Cherry.
Aye. And item 4.08, the school board shall appoint Jeremy Taylor as student representative and Xavier Williams as alternate. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that the board appoint Jeremy Taylor as student representative and Xavier Williams as alternate. Is there any discussion? I would like to say that both students are away doing wonderful things representing Hampton City Schools and will be sworn in August. Ready for the question, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Mason,
Aye.
Ms. Mugler,
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse,
Aye.
Mr. Samuels,
Aye.
Ms. Henry,
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore,
Aye.
Ms. Cherry.
Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. Our next item is item 5, hearing of any delegations or presentation of any written communications or petitions.
Yes, I have some. Could you pass those down? Pass them to Ms. Cherry.
I've received 3. Ms. Bowers, would you please read the protocol?
Citizens are invited to address the school board on matters of public concern about the school division. Speaker forms are available prior to the start of the meeting. If you wish to address the school board, please complete the form and give it to the clerk. Each individual will have 5 minutes to speak. All comments shall be directed to the school board. Speakers may not yield their time to another. Speakers should address the school board with decorum on policy issues. Speakers shall not address matters involving individual students, as these topics may violate confidentiality and are not appropriate in a public forum. Presentation of resolutions, declarations, proclamations, manifestos, awards, or other similar documents not originated under the auspices of the school board or administration is prohibited during the public comment period. The audience is asked to be respectful of all speakers. Public comment is the school board's opportunity to listen to the speaker. Since our purpose is to hear from you, the board will not engage in dialogue with the audience or whomever is at the podium. Matters requiring a response will be directed to the superintendent for research and response. The superintendent may report back on such matters at a subsequent business meeting session as appropriate. The school board carefully considers your comments as we decide matters that are brought before us. We appreciate your attendance and your input.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. Our first speaker is Keisha Samuels.
Good evening to the board.
Good evening.
My name is Keisha Samuels, and I would just like to say congratulations to the newly elected board member, Dr. Mason, and to returning members, Mr. Kilgore and Mr. Samuels, and a special, just to say congratulations also to your families. I know that it is, it's tough going through running for an office, so I'd just like to say congratulations to your families as well. I would like to acknowledge my husband, Jason Samuels, for your unwavering commitment of service to this board and this community. My lens as a spouse is very interesting. I'm honored to stand beside you and call you my husband. I've watched you serve this board and always go high. I have seen your sacrifice of time and talent. I would like to thank you for always supporting your family while serving on this board. I would also like to thank you for being the father of my children and being a true father to them. Reading with James at night, no matter how late you got in from a school board meeting, checking Alana's homework, making sure that you're present in our children's lives. And you did all of this while serving this board and this community. I thank you for your service. I thank you for always being the type of man that puts family first. But I know behind family is the community. I know your role in the community as a social worker. I know how many hundreds of people you have helped in this community and beyond, and you have done it all with integrity. I say thank you for your service to this community, to our family. Godspeed ahead of you. Continue to smile. Continue to have that peace that surpasses all understanding. And I just say thank you for your work and continue the good work. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Alana Samuels.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alana Samuels. I am here on behalf of my brother James and I. We are the children of Jason and Keisha Samuels. On a more personal note, hi, Dad. A lot of you see him as the man in the suit, but he is just Dad to me. My freshman year was a very emotional year for me, but my dad was there for me. Anything he could do to strengthen me as his daughter and as a student, he did. So thank you, Dad. I would just like to thank you for your impact on the community and schools. For an example, refurbishing the bus drivers' bathrooms so that when they pick me up or drop me off, they have a positive attitude. Because trust and believe me, having to use a bathroom will change your whole attitude. Also, for coming into schools and actually interacting with the students and trying to get to know them, because some of those students do not receive that attention at home. While you were chair, I know your schedule was really busy, so thank you for coming to all my volleyball, soccer, and academic activities. Even if you couldn't get there on time, you always showed up just in time to see me. In closing, as I have recognized little of the many things my dad has done, not just for myself, but for the community, I hope that all of you sitting on the stage and sitting in the audience also realize his impact. Thank you and have a blessed day.
And our final speaker is Ann Andrews.
Hello, everybody. As I sit and look at you, I think someday I'm going to volunteer or I'm going to apply and I'm going to be there with you. I grew up in North Carolina. I went to private schools, public schools, you know what all over the place. I knew one thing when I was a kid. The last thing I ever wanted to be was a teacher. I never wanted to have that job. It wasn't until I got into college and I needed money for a scholarship so I could finish. And they said, well, the education program will give it to you. The only thing is you got to teach for them for 2 years. I went, okay, maybe I can do that. I got a problem with that. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it so much that I have been teaching for 37 years. I am now retired past program chair of the Human Services at Thomas Nelson. I taught at Hampton Roads Academy. I taught at Hampton High School. I taught in California. I taught in Utah. And I taught at Thomas Nelson again. The only thing was they said you have to finish your master's degree. So I thought, well, where am I going to get a master's degree quickly? So, sorry to say this, but I ended up being a social worker, which now I'm hooked on that too. So Norfolk State and I are great friends, and Hampton and I are great friends. I moved here in '84. Never thought I was going to live here. The military brought me. I have discovered something about Hampton. I have discovered that it is, without a doubt, one of the most wonderful communities I've ever been part of. It reminds me of my home, which I miss, which, sadly to say, Raleigh, North Carolina doesn't exist today as it did in 1965. I I never really knew what it was about a school board till I met Jason, who is my neighbor. Probably the best neighbor I've ever had in my entire life, and his kids are like my own kids. I love it when James calls me up and says, "Miss Ann, can I come over and play?" I said, "Sure." But that man has shown me something. He's shown me the respect for the people in this community and the schools. He values these schools. He supports these schools. And he's opened me up to do the same, which I gratefully appreciate, because I probably would just have left Thomas Nelson and gone away. Anyway, I only have one problem today, and that is I miss teaching. So I got to figure out a way to find another way to teach. But I do serve Hampton in other ways: Unity Commission, Police Advisory Committee. I think that's with you, right?
Yes, you're on that committee as well.
And then they put me on the golf committee. I don't know why they put me on the golf committee, but I'm on the golf committee too. I do play golf, but if you want to win, play with me. I'm not good at it at all. So I just love Hampton. It is, without a doubt, other than the traffic, it's really wonderful. I could talk forever. I love to talk, and I just hope that I get to stay part of y'all more than just signing up to show up and speak. So if you want anybody to do anything with you, call me. You know, and if you can't get through to me, give the message to him. He can holler over the fence. Thank you very much for being the servants that you are to our children. I have 3 children. They've all graduated. 2 have gone to college. The other one became a musician, which is okay. He does good. And I'm just thrilled. And when I leave here tonight, I'm going to go play with my grandson. Thank you.
That concludes the hearing of any delegations or presentations. Now we move on to item 6, other items for action. That includes items 6.01 through 6.07. 6.01 is approval of sole source authorization. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the sole source authorization. Is there any discussion? I would like, for transparency, to make sure the public knows what this is as we vote on it each year. The sole source approval for certain required materials and services. The Hampton School Board approves procuring on a sole source basis all curriculum required materials and services, pre-K through 12, recommended by curriculum study committees and adopted by the Hampton School Board that are not on state contract and are available for sale only from a single source, as well as other non-curricular materials and services that may be required. As specific procurement requests arise, the superintendent or his designated representative shall review and certify to the Procurement Office, Division of Finance, those that meet the criteria for sole source procurement. All curriculum-related and other requests not so identified shall be subject to applicable requirements for competitive bidding. Is there any other discussion?
Thank you for explaining that. It's really, every year it comes up and people are like, what in the world is that? We're advised to buy things that are on a state contract. The price is set. We don't have to negotiate that. If we buy something else that's not on a state contract, we have to ask people what their price, put it out for bids and get the best price. Sometimes there's only one of whatever it is that we need, and we know that we need it, and that's why we have to have this permission to let people buy the one thing we need when we need it.
Thank you, Ms. Henry, for that further explanation. Any more discussion? Ready for the question? Ms. Bowers?
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Item 6.02 is the VSB Code of Conduct for School Board Members. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second to adopt the VSBA Code of Conduct for School Board Members. Is there any discussion?
Would you like?
Mr. Kilgore, will you read what that code of conduct is?
Absolutely, be my pleasure. This resolution reads, "The Virginia School Board Association Code of Conduct for School Board Members. As a member of my local school board, I will strive to be an advocate for students and to improve public education, and to that end, 1, I will have integrity in all matters and support the full development of all children and the welfare of the community, Commonwealth, and nation. 2, I will attend scheduled school board meetings. 3, I will come to board meetings informed concerning the issues under consideration. 4, I will make policy decisions based on the available facts and appropriate public input. 5, I will delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent and establish a process for accountability of administrators. 6, I will encourage individual board member expression of opinion and establish an open, two-way communication process with all segments of the community. 7, I will communicate in accordance with board policies, public reaction and opinion regarding board policies and school programs to the full board and superintendent. 8, I will bring about desired changes through legal and ethical procedures, upholding and enforcing all laws, state regulations, and court orders pertaining to schools. 9, I will refrain from using the board position for personal or partisan gain and avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety. 10, I will respect the confidentiality of privileged information and make no individual decisions or commitments that might compromise the board or administration. 11, I will be informed about current educational issues through individual study and participation in appropriate programs such as those sponsored by my state and national school board associations. 12, I will always remember that the foremost concern of the board is to improve and enhance the teaching and learning experience for all students in the public schools of Virginia. Therefore, I will strive to demonstrate appropriate behavior, conduct as a public school board member, and this will be signed by all board members, and it's dated July 11th, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Kilgore. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Aye.
Ms. Mugler? Aye. Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next, item 6.03, minutes of the school board meeting of June 6, 2018. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
Motion to approve, Madam Chairman.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second to approve the minutes of the school board meeting of June 6, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Mugler? Aye. Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion is approved. Item 6.04, minutes of the school board meeting of June 20th, 2018. Do I hear a motion?
Move approval of action item 6.04.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second to move approval of the minutes of the school board meeting of June 20th, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Mugler? Aye. Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Abstain. Item 6.05, certification of the closed session of June 6, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to certify the closed session of June 6, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. Moving to 6.06, certification of the special closed session of June 16, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second to certify the special closed session of June 16, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. And 6.07, certification of the closed session of June 20th, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second to certify the closed session of June 20th, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Mugler?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion is approved. Moving to item 7, this is deliberation. It includes items 7.01 through 7.06. We can have a brief discussion on what the revisions are, if it is the pleasure of the board. Item 7.01 is revision of school board policy AA, school division legal status. Ms. Reeves?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is a revision pursuant to the recent VSBA recommendations for some policy changes, and they're fairly minor edits to the language in this school division legal status. Okay. And there is the deletion of one Virginia Code section.
Thank you. Are there any questions by board members? 7.02, revision of school board policy CBD, superintendent's contract, compensation, and benefits.
Madam Chair, in this case, there is a change in reference to a Virginia Code section and one minor language change to take it from the shall to simply that we're keeping it in the present tense. Apparently, the VSBA is recommending that we do that in all of them, and we've been doing that over a period of time.
Thank you for the explanation. Any questions by board members? Clarifications? Moving on to 7.03, revision of school board policy CBG, evaluation of superintendent.
There are some VSBA recommended changes, one of which is reference to the standards for the evaluation criteria for superintendents, which has been revised more recently than our past policy referenced. So it now is referencing a July 23rd, 2015 revision, and we've added language to the paragraph regarding the evaluation itself, indicating that the evaluation may identify areas of individual strength and weakness and recommendations for professional activities. So those are the major recommended revisions of this board policy.
Thank you. Are there any clarifications on behalf of board members? 7.04, I see that policy belongs to Ms. Scott. Will you be handling that, Ms. Reeves?
Yes, because the next three actually need to be explained in conjunction with one another.
Okay, that's 7.04, deletion of school board policy EI, insurance management. 7.05, revision of school board policy EIB, liability insurance to EI, insurance management. And 7.06, new school board policy BHE, school board member liability insurance.
Correct. So the recommendation is that what we presently have as insurance management policy EI be deleted. so that what we presently have as policy EIB would then become new policy EI, being called insurance management, and there being very little change in the actual language within the policy. Where the deletions occurred in our former EI, they are now going to be added in a new policy that's under one of the school board sections, because your sections are A, B, and C, and this is in section B, and it is school board member liability insurance. And so that is a new policy that will now specifically address the liability insurance with regard to school board members. So the language that was formerly in EI is now in BAG.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, these items will be placed on the agenda for action for our next board meeting. Thank you. Now we move to Section 8, Items for Action. It includes 8.01 through 8.06. Is there a motion to take these as a block?
Madam Chair, since we deliberated these at our last meeting, I move that we approve action items 8.01 through 8.06 as a block.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that we approve items 8.01 through 8.06 as a block. Is there any discussion from any board members? Hearing none, Ms. Bowers, please call for the vote.
Dr. Woodhouse?
Aye.
Ms. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Kilgore?
Aye.
Dr. Mason?
Abstain.
Ms. Mugler? Aye. Mr. Samuels?
Aye.
Ms. Cherry?
Aye. The ayes have it, the motion is approved. Now we're on to information items. 9.01, this is a notice. Hampton City Schools policies are available to the public online at www.hampton.k12.va.us. Our next meeting of the school board will be held on Wednesday, August 1, 6:30 p.m. here at Jones Magnet Middle School. Is there any information to be shared by any member of the school board and/or the superintendent at this time?
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to congratulate our student representative who could not be with us today, Xavier Williams, who was elected governor at the American Legion Boys State of Virginia. So we're very proud.
Thank you for acknowledging that, Ms. Henry. We're all very proud of Mr. Williams. Our newest board member, would you have something you'd like to say?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I would just like to say thank you to the members of the school board. You all have welcomed me with open arms. Even during the campaign season, you were very supportive and very helpful. I appreciate all of that, and I look forward to serving with you all. I would also like to thank supporters out there. First and foremost, my family. My wife is here, and my son. Every day I live, they do things to make me better.
Let's ask them to stand so we can meet them.
Yes, stand so they can see who you all are. And I have tons of supporters, friends and family, church members, fraternity brothers, and I'll ask all of you to stand as well, because you all have definitely been a tremendous support on this journey. And I could not be here without the support of them, my church, and everything that I am and everything that I do, I owe it all to God. So I do want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for being the head of my life. And I look forward to serving the citizens of Hampton and serving on this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mason. Any other remarks by any other board members? Any other information? Yes, Mr. Samuels.
Just like to, Madam Chairwoman, I would like to share some information in regards to the Air Force Junior ROTC program at Hampton High School. 3 Hampton City School students were selected to attend the Junior ROTC Air Force Academy at Langley Air Force Base, which included my daughter, Alana Samuels. And although many students from across the school division and other localities were invited, not all of the students or participants graduated, but the 3 individuals from Hampton City Schools graduated and received their graduation certificate from the Air Force Junior ROTC program. And it was a week-long, arduous. They did sit up in muds. Alana came home with mud in her hair. The first night she really wanted to quit, but I tell you, our children are doing just so, they have this growth mindset where they know that they can do it. And this, I just want to acknowledge Dr. Woods for her support of the, and all the administrative for the support of the ROTC program in Hampton City Schools. So it's making leaders out of our students. So thank you, and Alana, congratulations.
Thank you. That's very, very good news. Thank you, Mr. Samuels, for sharing that. Any other? Yes, Ms. Mugler.
I have one while we're on the tear of talking about our wonderful students. Former Kickotan Warrior baseball player Jake Cave is playing in the Major League Baseball for the Minnesota Twins. So, Twins? Yes, for the Twins. So, just like to acknowledge the accomplishments of those folks that come out of our schools.
Thank you so much. As you can see, we have outstanding students in Hampton City Schools, and I'm glad they are being recognized and honored by members of this board tonight. Any more conversation in terms of items of information? Mr. Superintendent, do you have any?
Madam Chair, no further business from the superintendent.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd just like, right before we close, to thank the school board again. Thank you, Ms. Mugler, for those comments. I really do appreciate that. And thank you, Ms. Henry. You didn't have to tell anybody we knew each other 20 years. I still was going for a lower age, but that's okay. But I really do, I know, I do look forward to serving, and I'm very excited, Mr. Kilgore, about us being partners. Are you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay. We're going to adjourn the meeting, but the board will be going to reconvene into a closed session. Thank you.